Hi, it's Stacey Vornbrock with BreakthroughPerformance.net, and I'm talking with you today about past injuries that athletes have had. I was having a conversation with Andrea Amador. I have Andrea here, and we decided to record this conversation. Hi, Andrea.
Hey, Stacey. My first question is, what happens when an athlete has past injuries and surgeries, but they've appeared to have fully recovered?
Well, every athlete I've worked with has had not only an injury, but oftentimes multiple injuries. And it's really common for them to believe that because it was in the past, it was a past injury, that it's handled and there's no problem, especially if it was something maybe even minor, some sprains or a break, but they were made a full recovery and it doesn't seem to be impacting them in some way. And there are also other athletes that have had such major injuries that they're aware it's still bothering them or impacting them in some way. But for the most part, the thinking among athletes is, and really anybody, not just athletes, well, that was in the past. Oh, that injury happened 10 years ago. That doesn't affect me now. But the truth is, every single injury or surgery that you've ever had at any point in your life on the cellular level has not fully and completely healed. And that's because, just as I talked about in the first video about current injuries, on the cellular level, the trauma that settles in around the injured area, the adrenaline, the pain, and the memory of pain, all of the emotions connected with the injury, the surgery, and the recovery process, or anything that was stressful going on in your life when that injury occurred, the fear of re-injury on the cellular level that the body takes on when it's injured or has surgery, and the memory of protection that forms on the cellular level in the cell membranes, all of that is still sitting on the cellular level in the body from those past injuries. And in fact, it's really holding that athlete back. They may not be consciously aware of that, but and sometimes they are, again, depending on the severity of the injury or the surgery, they could be very aware of it. But what they will notice is after we tap, they usually have an awareness of, wow, I didn't realize this was holding me back, or gee, I can all of a sudden make a play or make a move or do something. I didn't realize that I was tight, or I couldn't do that, or I wasn't really giving it my all. Some part of me was holding back. Again, that will have to do with the fear of re-injury the body takes on when it is injured and the memory of protection. So it's never passed to the body. It's always present. So if you had an injury 20 years ago, I guarantee that all of those things are still sitting in the cells around that injured area, and they are holding you back in some way in your performance.
Well, how do you help athletes recover from past injuries and surgeries?
Well, I use exactly the same program that I developed for any athlete or any person that has a current injury. We just apply the same protocols and the same process to past injuries because, again, in the body, there's no time. Our body can't distinguish the time in that respect. So we tap to release the trauma, the adrenaline, the pain, and the memory of pain, all of the emotions connected with the injury itself, if there was surgery, any issues or emotions around that, anything that happened in the rehab process, if it was a tough rehab process, sometimes there can be a lot of emotions with that, or if it was a real tough injury, there's a lot of anger and frustration, or you miss time from performing or being with the team. That's usually very emotional. So all of those emotional chemicals are sitting in those cell receptors. So we release that. We release the fear of re-injury, the memory of protection. If the injury or surgery was intense enough, for sure with surgery this always happens, the body will take on a fear of death. But oftentimes, if the injury itself is bad enough, the body will take on a fear of death. So we clear that. We clear the energy of the medications that you took for recovery, the energy of anesthesia for the surgery, any words that the doctor spoke that were cautionary or negative, or told you what may or may not happen they usually always cover their ass, so they say they're going to tell you worst case scenario about what may happen. And so we release all of that. We have a conversation with the body using emotional freedom techniques or tapping. So we speak directly to the cells and directly to the body. The body knows how to release that all of those issues from the past, all those emotional chemicals from the past. And I also use a process called Psych K, which is a way to speak directly with the subconscious mind. Subconscious is running our body, so it's critical to have the subconscious in alignment and agreement with completely healing that part of the body that was injured or had surgery. So I apply my injury recovery program to any past injury just as if it was a current injury.
Well, what about non-athletes? What do you recommend for non-athletes who have had injuries or past surgeries?
I recommend exactly the same program. It doesn't matter. The protocols that I developed work for athletes, non-athletes, children, adults. They even work for animals. You can actually tap for your animal as well. So anybody that's ever had an injury, a surgery, a concussion in the past, a fall of some kind, been in a car accident and has had even minor injuries, any dental work in the past, especially if you've had some dental surgery, or if you've had the gum surgery or anything like that was pretty extensive, you definitely want to tap this program. And any medical procedure you've really had, colonoscopy, anything like that, or even minor surgery that you had in an outpatient setting, anything in the past, you would want to use this program for. What I actually recommend to my athletes and non-athletes is that they make a list of all the injuries, surgeries, concussions, falls, accidents, dental work, or medical procedures that they've had, and they just go through what you take one at a time, one injury or surgery at a time, one process or one incident at a time, and tap the entire injury recovery program. That clears everything out of your body on the cellular level. And I think you'd be very surprised about what you'd notice in your performance or in your body's actual, just real day-to-day. I have a lot of people that report the most amazing things they've been able to start doing again and using again in their body that they couldn't for a long time after their injury.
Where can someone get more information about your injury recovery program?
Well, if you go to my website, breakthroughperformance.net, and you look at the top menu bar, you'll see products. And if you click on athletes, you'll see all of my sports performance manuals. Every sports performance manual contains the entire injury recovery program that I developed. I really wanted to put this directly in the hands of my athletes so that they could tap for themselves on any past injuries that they've had. So the whole program's laid out, including the bonus of protocols that goes with that program. And I also have it as a standalone program. You may not be interested in the entire sports performance manual, but you may want to just purchase the ebook. It's a standalone program, Injury Recovery, plus the bonus filled with all those great protocols. And so you can, on the top menu bar under products, if you just drop down, it'll say non-athletes. That's where you'll find the Injury Recovery ebook. And again, it's set up so that you can take yourself through the entire program and complete the healing of your past injuries and surgeries on the cellular level. You also can work privately with me. And of course, that's the way you're going to get the most thorough work done with clearing all of your past injuries. Because when I do my private sessions with athletes and non-athletes, it's extremely thorough in terms of the work that I do. So those are the ways to do that. You can look at my website, breakthroughperformance.net. You can email me, Stacey, Stacey, at breakthroughperformance.net. You can call me, 480-945-9750. And you can also look on my website under private sessions, and you can email me directly from my website as well.
Stacey, this is great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Andrea.